Section 1, 1000 words. They say humans talk themselves into trouble, but I talked myself into interstellar war. One compliment. One word. Lovely. That's all it took to turn half the galaxy into a flaming breakup song. My name's Max Vega, former relationship vlogger, current cosmic cautionary tale, and possibly the only man in the Milky Way whose ex can vaporize continents when she's upset. Before the chaos, I was just another Earth influencer trying to revive my dead career. My channel, loveguru_69, used to get millions of views, relationship advice, breakup hacks, emotional clickbait. Then my ex from the Europa colony leaked my 10 ways to make your partner orbit you video, and overnight I became a meme. So I did what any disgraced influencer would do, rebrand. I went interstellar. New channel. New me. Same lack of self-control. I got invited to the intergalactic mixer, a diplomatic gala on a neutral moon, filled with species that blinked sideways and had more titles than common sense. I was supposed to live stream interviews and charm delegates. Instead, I charmed something bigger. Literally bigger. Enter her radiant colossus, the giant Empress Virilia 9. 8 stories tall. Voice like an earthquake wrapped in velvet. Hair that shimmered like plasma storms. When she entered the room, everyone went silent, because sound waves actually bent around her presence. And me? I was 3 flutes of Xylarian fizz deep, holding my mic, narrating like an idiot. And here comes the Empress, absolute unit of beauty. Wow, she's lovely. The translator drones hesitated. Then the hall went dead quiet. I thought I'd nailed it. Complimented royalty, nailed a viral moment. The cameras were on me. Everyone stared. Then an aide fainted. Another screamed. The Empress blinked slowly, as if reality itself needed a reboot. Turns out, in her culture, lovely isn't just a word. It's a divine proposition. It means something like I wish to entwine our bloodlines and birth sons from our union. So yeah, I didn't compliment her, I proposed to her in front of the Galactic Council. Within minutes, the story broke every feed in the system. #human seduction trended. So did #size does matter. Comment sections exploded. Did that tiny ape just flirt with the Empress? Someone sedate him before he becomes fertilizer. My subscriber count tripled. My dignity evaporated. The Empress approached, each step shaking the floor. I remember her lowering that impossible face toward me, eyes glowing like twin moons. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in a palace the size of Manhattan, wrapped in silk sheets that could double as sails, surrounded by alien servants whispering, "Behold the consort of radiance." I check my reflection, still human-sized, still confused, still somehow wearing my influencer mic. There's a giant holographic news ticker outside her citadel reading, "Earthling secures Empress heart, or doom." My face is everywhere. Talk shows debate my techniques. Some species start drafting love laws inspired by me. I'm getting DMs from people I've never met asking if I can introduce them to tall women. Meanwhile, I'm pacing across her throne room, trying to figure out how to explain this. Her voice booms from above, smooth and devastating. "You flatter well, little Maximum. On my world, flattery is currency." I was drunk, I say. You were luminous. It was a mix of lighting and alcohol. She leans closer, eyes gleaming. "And yet your word ignited the stars." That's when it hits me, she's not angry. She's interested. My stupid compliment didn't start a war, yet. It started courtship. The kind of courtship where planets might explode if you ghost her. She gestures toward a feast table roughly the size of a football field. "Eat, little one. You will need strength for devotion." "Devotion?" I squeak. She smiles. "You have offered me your word. Your word is binding." Apparently, in her empire, speech has legal force. Compliments are contracts. Flirting is a marriage proposal. Lovely is a vow. And now I'm her fiancé. Hours later, I'm sitting in a chamber lined with murals of couples forming galaxies from their kisses. Her attendants bring me documents written in glowing symbols. One translates, by decree of Empress Virilia IX, the human Max Vega is henceforth recognized as royal consort, temporary mate class C, subject to renewal pending compatibility tests. Compatibility tests. I don't even like pineapple on pizza, and now I'm dating a skyscraper. While I'm trying not to panic, she approaches again. Her voice softens. Do not fear, Max Vega of Earth. You are intriguing. Is that a compliment or a threat? Yes. And she smiles, massive, terrifying, magnetic. I swear gravity bends around her teeth. Later that night, I lie awake on a bed big enough to park a shuttle on. Outside, nebulae swirl. My comlink buzzes non-stop, offers from sponsors, interviews, brand deals. Apparently, being the Empress's tiny lover makes for great publicity. I should have been scared. I should have planned an escape. Instead, I made a vlog. The first line I recorded, "Hey guys, Max here. Quick life update, accidentally married an alien goddess." Not clickbait. The video hit 1 billion views in an hour. And that's when I realized something awful and wonderful at the same time. This was my comeback. Sure, I might die in her arms, or between her fingers, but at least I'd go viral doing it. As I drifted off, her voice echoed through the chamber, tender and ominous. "Sleep, my lovely human." "Please stop saying that," I murmured. "Why?" she asked. "Because I'm starting to like it." She laughed again, a sound that rattled the stars, and I swear, for a second, the whole galaxy shimmered. That was the night I became Empress Virilia's royal mistake. And I hadn't even begun to understand how much the galaxy would burn for my words. I woke up to the sound of thunder, except it wasn't thunder, it was the Empress stretching. Every movement of hairs echoed through the walls like a planetary quake. My first thought was simple, I am so dead. My second thought, at least my followers are loving this. My new status as royal consort had turned me into the most watched human in the galaxy. My feed overflowed with messages like, "Bros living every short king's dream, and how do I get crushed affectionately by a goddess?" Virilia sat on a throne big enough to host a music festival. "You're awake, my lovely human," she said, her tone rolling like velvet thunder. "Your breathing sounds different. Are you afraid?" "Afraid?" I said. No, this is just human cardio." She tilted her massive head. "Cardio. A ritual before mating." And that was how I learned to never answer rhetorical questions around her court. The room filled with attendants whispering translations, already documenting human mating rituals. I'd barely survived breakfast before rumors spread that Earth foreplay involved running from predators. Virilia loved talking. Or more accurately, lecturing. "On my world, beauty is measured in gravitational influence," she explained, tracing constellations with her finger. "How do humans measure it?" "With followers," I said. "Likes. Views." She blinked. "So power." "Exactly." She smiled. "Then you and I are not so different." Somewhere inside me, an ego flickered. Maybe I could handle this. Maybe this could be my greatest collab yet, love across light years. I imagined sponsorship deals, interstellar dating apps, cosmic colognes, maybe even a holo show. But before I could pitch it, she leaned close and whispered, "You speak of me as lovely. Tell me, what word would you use for yourself?" "I'm more of a manageable cute," I said. "Cute?" she repeated, tasting the word like it was forbidden fruit. "Explain." "Well, on Earth, it means appealing but small." "Small," she echoed. "Yes. You are." Her smile deepened. "That is charming." And with that, I somehow introduced the concept of cute into a language that previously had only words for divine and destroyer. Within hours, Virilia's courtiers were calling their rulers cute, and 2 diplomats challenged each other to a duel over the proper usage of endearment hierarchy. I'd just accidentally destabilized intergalactic linguistics. Again. Still, things weren't all bad. Virelia genuinely liked my humor. She'd demand I tell her Earth jokes every evening. The first time I said, "Why did the human cross the void?" To escape emotional commitment, she laughed so hard a nearby moon cracked. Her laughter wasn't like human laughter, it was seismic, like the universe hiccuping. And I couldn't help but feel a little proud. Our dates were surreal. She'd have feasts prepared, mountains of glowing fruit and oceans of wine, and I'd sit there, nibbling a grape, trying not to look like an ant at a wedding buffet. When I asked for a glass of water, they brought me a waterfall. Still, I tried to adapt. She once asked, "Do human lovers worship their partners?" "Only the ones with issues," I replied. "Then you will worship me in moderation." I raised my glass. "To moderation." She grinned. "To devotion." Our dynamic made no sense, but it worked in the strangest way. She admired that I spoke to her like an equal, while her counsel thought I was suicidal. They couldn't comprehend humor, I couldn't comprehend diplomacy. Somewhere between those misunderstandings, attraction happened. I became her favorite distraction, and she became my content goldmine. I documented everything, tastefully, of course. The day in the life of the Empress's boy-toy vlog broke every record. Fans called me brave, stupid, or both. Some said I represented humanity's fearless curiosity. Others called me the galaxy's prettiest hostage. I didn't correct anyone, both were true. Then came the cultural exchange dinner. I tried introducing her to Earth music. When the speakers played an old love ballad, she froze mid-bite. "Is this pain?" "It's heartbreak," I said. "Humans write songs about it." "Songs of pain," she murmured. "We write wars of it." There was a silence, then she smiled again, softer this time. "You are strange, Max Vega. You make pain sound beautiful." I shrugged. "We romanticize everything. It's how we survive ourselves." That line must have hit something deep in her because she reached down and brushed her fingertip, bigger than my torso, along my arm. The contact felt like static and warmth and gravity rolled together. "You burn differently," she said. "You make me curious." That word again, burn. It hung between us, meaning both desire and danger. The air smelled like ozone. I realized then she wasn't just flirting, she was studying me, trying to understand how humans turn weakness into art. And maybe, for her, that was irresistible. The galaxy noticed. Tabloids ran with headlines, "Tiny human, big energy." Empress softens after Boita's ballad. My follow account hit 500 billion. Meanwhile, diplomats panicked. The alliance accused Earth of deploying seduction warfare. Someone even proposed sanctions against human flirting. Through it all, I stayed oblivious, too busy enjoying my weirdly affectionate apocalypse. Sure, I was technically her property now, but she let me talk back, make her laugh, and occasionally roast her on camera. No one had ever dared do that to her. She'd throw her head back and declare, "You are my entertainment, my chaos, my delicate disaster." I replied, "You say the sweetest things." And she meant it. The night stretched longer, conversations deeper. She asked about Earth sunsets, small things, coffee, rain, mistakes. I told her about all the dumb things humans do in the name of love, writing poems, making playlists, forgiving exes who didn't deserve it. She listened like I was describing magic. "Your species wastes so much energy on emotion," she said, almost admiringly. "It's our only renewable resource," I said. She laughed again, that thunderous melody. "Then perhaps I shall invest in you, little renewable." I should have known that line would haunt me later. But for now, I was basking in attention no mortal man deserved, convinced I was rewriting the rules of interstellar romance, one bad joke at a time. Somewhere, deep down, I knew it couldn't last. You can't keep a goddess entertained forever. But when she smiled at me across her throne, planets shimmering behind her like jewelry, I forgot all that. I forgot how fragile I was. I forgot that words in this galaxy could start wars. Because in that moment, when she said, You make my stars sing. I almost believed she meant it. And maybe, for a while, she did. The breakup began the way all great cosmic disasters do, with a leaked vlog and a bad thumbnail. The title read, Dating a Giant, Pros, Cons, and How Not to Die Doing It. It was supposed to be a private rant, a draft never meant to go public. But the moment it hit the net, the galaxy devoured it like hungry nebulae. Within an hour, it had 50 million views. Within 2, I was trending under #human dumpster fire. I knew I was doomed the moment the palace walls shook. The Empress doesn't storm into a room, she creates new weather systems. Her eyes were twin suns, and both were aimed at me. You mocked our union, she said, her voice layered with static and grief. You made our bond, content. I stammered something about authentic emotional transparency. Wrong move. Her tone dropped to absolute zero. Transparency, she echoed. Then let the stars see what pain looks like. That was the last thing I heard before she turned away and whispered the command that would become the most famous phrase in galactic history, let the galaxy burn for his words. And it did. Literally. Her fleets moved first, ritual demonstrations of heartbreak that vaporized 3 moons before breakfast. Her people broadcast her lament across the cosmos, a sonic weapon wrapped in poetry. Every frequency carried her voice, sorrow turned seismic. Whole civilizations wept, others retaliated. All because one human idiot couldn't keep his vlog offline. From my hiding place in a smuggler's cargo bay, I watched newsfeeds scream my name, the human who broke a goddess. Max Vega, prophet of passion or cosmic menace. Even Earth joined the circus. Politicians called me a rogue ambassador. Influencers made reaction videos dissecting my tone, my shirt, my choices. A new dance trend called #lovelyburns used my quotes as lyrics. Somewhere between humiliation and absurdity, I stopped feeling fear and started laughing. I tried to stay alive by staying online. I turned my exile into a survival series, How to Ghost an Empress. I filmed in dark corners of abandoned stations, whispering advice to other fools. Step 1. Don't call a deity clingy. Step 2. Don't assume scale equals emotional maturity. Somehow, it went viral again. Apparently, everyone loves watching a man flirt with extinction. The irony? The more I spoke, the more her wrath grew. Every word from my mouth became kindling. Planets protested, religions formed overnight. A sect on Zor declared me the apostle of lovely, preaching that humanity's weakness was divine. Others burned effigies of me shaped like oversized microphones. But under all the chaos, something strange started to happen. People began to listen. My stupid humor turned into strange comfort. Whole species related to the ridiculous pain of being misunderstood. They laughed at me but also with me. At least he's honest, someone commented. He messed up like the rest of us. For the first time, humanity wasn't feared or pitied, we were relatable. I didn't plan it, but my humiliation became a movement. My followers grew faster than her armies could destroy them. They called themselves the Burned Ones, wearing shirts that said, Still Lovely. My live streams became therapy sessions for civilizations that had forgotten how to joke about heartbreak. Meanwhile, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Not the Empress, the ruler, the woman behind all that fury. I'd seen her laugh, seen her pretend not to care, seen her whisper in the dark about the loneliness of immortality. I missed her, even as she set systems ablaze. Every transmission I sent went unanswered. I tried logic, apology, even poetry. Nothing reached her. Then one day, in the middle of a broadcast, my signal glitched. The feed filled with static, and her voice came through, soft, distant, furious. You still talk. Habit, I said. Your words destroy worlds. Yeah, well, so do yours. Silence. Then, a low rumble of laughter. For a moment, I thought she might spare me. Then the signal cut, and an entire constellation went dark. Message received. I drifted between starports, a wanted man and unwilling myth. Every time I opened my mouth, someone quoted me back to myself. I'd become a slogan, a meme, a ghost wrapped in Wi-Fi. My fame tasted like ash, but I couldn't stop feeding it. Talking was the only thing I had left, the only thing humans ever really have. And yet, in that endless noise, something kept me going. Humanity was changing. We weren't the underdogs anymore. We were the species that survived embarrassment on a cosmic scale. No matter how many times we failed, we kept joking, kept talking, kept turning pain into punchlines. The universe couldn't handle that kind of madness. Maybe that's our real superpower. Not strength, not technology, shameless persistence. We trip, fall, and somehow convince the world it's choreography. Eventually, I found myself on a desolate moon, recording my last message. My ship's power was dying, my fame was fading, and for the first time, I didn't have an audience. I stared at the camera, voice tired but steady. I used to think love was about being seen, I said. Turns out, it's about surviving the reflection. The words weren't rehearsed. They just burned their way out. Later, I learned that broadcast went viral again. Someone remixed it into a song called Lovely Apocalypse. It topped charts in 3 galaxies. Even her empire played it during peace summits. Apparently, people thought it was romantic. I didn't mean to start a cultural revolution. I just meant to apologize. But in a universe obsessed with perfection, my screw-up became a symbol of something better, imperfection that refused to die quietly. And maybe that's why, somewhere deep in her citadel, Virelius stopped burning worlds. The report said her last order before retreating was simple: let the humans speak. So here I am. Still talking. Still surviving. Still proving that the smallest voice in the galaxy can shake the biggest throne, if it's dumb, loud, and honest enough. They called it the Great Lovely War. I call it the longest breakup in history. And if I'm being honest, she started it, but I definitely gave her the lines. The galaxy eventually got tired of burning. You can only rage for so long before even cosmic fire runs out of fuel. I woke up one morning in a rented capsule on the edge of nowhere, and for the first time in months, the news didn't start with my name. There were new scandals, new wars, new idiots trending. The universe had moved on. I should have been relieved, but instead, I felt hollow, like I'd been exiled from my own chaos. Fame had been my oxygen, now silence was my punishment. I spent those quiet days talking to myself through my old recording mic. No audience, no sponsors, no Empress breathing down the stars. Just me. Guess this is what peace sounds like, I said once, listening to static hum. Weird. Don't like it. My jokes fell flat without someone to react, even if that someone could crush moons. Loneliness is funnier when it's shared. Out of habit, I started recording again. No script, no edits, just honesty. I told stories about love, about regret, about how humans managed to make comedy out of misery. I didn't realize it, but people were still listening. The feed spread slowly, quietly this time, across forgotten networks and pirate signals. Maybe they missed laughing. Maybe they missed me. Or maybe they missed the reminder that it's okay to mess up spectacularly and still wake up the next day. One night, during a live broadcast, my console flickered. Static bloomed. The audience count spiked from a few thousand to millions. Then I heard it, a voice I hadn't heard since the day she ended me. Deep, smooth, almost gentle. "You still talk," she said. My throat locked. "I didn't know you tuned in." "I always did." There was a pause. "You speak differently now. Quieter." "Had to. Kind of ran out of galaxies to yell at." A low hum vibrated through the signal. "Was that amusement?" "You mock pain even as you bleed," she said. "Yeah," I answered. "It's a human coping mechanism. We either laugh or explode." "You made me laugh," she said softly. No one had done that in 1,000 years. I didn't know what to say to that. For the first time, silence between us didn't feel like war, it felt like the space between two mistakes learning how to breathe again. The next day, every major network carried the transmission. The galaxy watched as the Empress of Varelia and the human disaster of Earth spoke live for 6 uninterrupted hours. It wasn't an interview, it was therapy disguised as banter. She accused, I deflected. She mourned, I joked. By the end, we were both laughing. Someone titled the replay Love, Death, and Wi-Fi. It became the most watched broadcast in history. Suddenly, instead of fighting, species started talking. My followers turned into peace advocates. Hers turned into fans. Entire empires began using memes of us arguing as diplomatic tools. The United Systems Council even made our conversation mandatory viewing in negotiation training. Humanity had officially rebranded itself, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as the species too stubborn to stop talking. Varelia and I never officially reunited. There was no romantic finale, no kiss across galaxies. Just understanding. Sometimes that's more intimate than love. Still, she started appearing anonymously in my streams, different name, disguised voice, but I could tell. She'd comment things like, "Your hair looks less tragic today," or "Humans exaggerate heartbreak amusingly." It became our private joke. I built a small studio on that quiet moon, running my show from there. I called it X's and Empires. Every episode was part comedy, part confession. Guests from across the stars came to talk about lost loves, bad choices, and the ridiculous things people do to feel significant. My listeners laughed, cried, and sent messages like, "Thanks for proving survival can be funny." For the first time, my words didn't start fires, they healed people. That irony wasn't lost on me. The sponsors came back, of course. Holostream networks, merchandise offers, speaking tours. But I turned most of them down. I'd had enough of being a brand. Now I just wanted to be a voice, faceless, timeless, unpolished. The galaxy didn't need another idol, it needed permission to fail out loud. Months later, a courier drone arrived with a single crystal sealed in royal insignia. Inside, a recorded message played, "To the human who dared. You taught me that beauty is not in perfection but in persistence. I am no longer burning. I am glowing. Do not stop talking." It wasn't signed, but it didn't have to be. The message ended with a faint laugh, hairs. I didn't cry, but I smiled the way survivors do, halfway between gratitude and disbelief. Then I turned back to my MIC, pressed record, and said, "Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're talking about forgiveness. Turns out, it's the universe's best long-term survival strategy." The feed went live. People tuned in from every system. The comments rolled by faster than light, still lovely. Still burning. Still human. Maybe that's how it was always meant to end, not with fireworks or redemption, but with connection. Humanity didn't conquer the stars through force or brilliance. We did it the way we do everything, awkwardly, loudly, and with too much heart. Somewhere out there, the Empress probably still rules her empire, still terrifying, still magnificent. Maybe she even laughs sometimes when someone calls her lovely. I hope so. Because if she does, then maybe my words didn't destroy the galaxy after all. Maybe they just changed its temperature. I shut off the recorder, leaned back, and let the silence fill the room again. It felt lighter now, almost friendly. Outside, a nearby star flickered, like it was in on the joke. Not bad for a breakup story, I said to no one in particular. And if the galaxy burned a little for it, well, that's just what happens when you tell the truth and accidentally make it sound beautiful.